Hi, Jamie here. It's been so long since I made a video, and it's not because I've forgotten. I never forget. It's just been a really busy few months. My family and I moved back to the United States, and it was really stressful, but we're settled and we're doing really good and happy to be back, honestly. I could say a lot about those years in China. I'm so grateful for them. They taught me so much, and yeah, but I won't go off on that right now. But it's been a while. I thought it might be fun to kind of take you up on the request to talk about some people that I follow on YouTube. And a lot of people that I have followed on YouTube over the years are now gone. They've been deleted. So I do follow people also on Bitchute. But the people that I follow on YouTube and on Bitchute, it's a wide spectrum, and I don't know if this is going to be super interesting for people, but I think it's a good snapshot for who I am and kind of my process, and it definitely relates to altered states and trance work as well. So the number one person that everyone should follow is Michael Sheridan and his dream analysis process. 100% recommend, and I know I've gone on and on. But for today, I was just going to mention two, and then at the end kind of give you a list of people that I do follow. So the first person that I really wanted to talk about was Jeremy Garner. And I discovered Jeremy Garner years ago because I was trying to look up videos on how to work on my clairvoyance. I had already woken up to the reality of this reality, and I was really trying to hone my skills on being clairvoyant. And he made some videos that were about how to use clairvoyance and access fairies, fairyland. And at the time, I never had any interest in fairies. I don't know if I ever really thought twice about it. But watching his videos, I had seen so many people talk about being in an altered state, being in trance, talking to entities, or whatever you may think about that. And a so small percentage of them actually rang true to me. I think there's a lot of people that, and again, I'm not dismissing a lot of people for doing kind of more imagination work, but it's very different than actually going into a trance state and being with entities for, face to face. And the way he discussed his experiences, it was very apparent quickly that he was the real deal. And then another click in my head happened where I thought, oh my gosh, you've traveled so much in your states, you could probably go to fairyland. Like, that was amazing to me to think about that. And so I started really following a lot of what he did. And what happened then is, again, I never thought anything about fairies. I'm not like a really kind of that kind of person, I guess. I'm just so, I painfully grounded and practical, and it just bothers me, actually, to be honest. But then everything around me became about fairies. It was like they were like bombarding me. It was incredible. And I really thought, I'm really onto something here. I mean, to the point where I'd be listening to a podcast about something completely unrelated and then turn it off only to see something in a book about it, and then turn the podcast back on, and then a few steps later, there'd be something about fairies in the podcast, just randomly. I mean, it was really remarkable. So I really recommend him. His work also really speaks to a part of me in terms of it's very eclectic, and the work that he does. He's written books. I've read 2 of them, and they're great. He talks about ancient lost histories and symbols, which is really great. I love hearing about symbols, of course. He writes music, which is so good, and there's something about his process that really speaks to me. So I think if any of that speaks to you, it'd be great to find him. Yeah, and I think that the fairies, like the fairy idea, hitting me so hard that there was something to it, and it was almost like a healing process for me. And I'm still working on it, to be honest with you, and I'm really excited about that. So, Jeremy Garner, number 1. Number 2 is almost like the other side of me, which is just the strong side of me, which is I watch a lot of kind of truth channels, and when I first woke up, and I've talked about this in the video that's entitled Psychic Development Conspiracy, when I first woke up to the reality of what was actually going on in this reality, it was a very hard process. But since then, very quickly I realized that the big word of everything was deception. That is the word. And I've since talked to guides and I've talked to entities about deception and how that is really what's going on here is just a giant deception. And I really wondered often, very quickly, how high it goes. There are so many people, well, there's a lot of people, I know a lot of us, that understand that we are being lied to, directly lied to. But how many of those people know that we're being lied to and then also have like kind of this direct experience, personal experience with dream work and altered states? And so I quickly questioned, how high does the deception go? And I sort of started questioning guides, to be honest. I started thinking about like the lucid state and how it felt kind of controlled in a way, and all of that. So the second channel that I'll talk about that really came together in a way that was really made sense in my head, was Overwatch Project. Overwatchproject.com. I'm really sorry, forgive me, I don't even know the gentleman's name, but I've listened to a lot of what he talks about, and everything he talks about, I'm like, yes, exactly. I mean, even such things as I've always, since I can remember, had a really big problem with the fact that we have a lot of amnesia, or we have amnesia. Like, why don't we remember what happened where we were before? That has really bothered me since like I was 12. So he talks about the amnesia process. I've had a couple of dreams where I've actually gone through like a tunnel of light, and they start playing music and I realize that I'm gonna start losing my memory. Could be kind of the process of coming here and losing that memory. I've also, and this is just being honest, I've also had a problem with kind of nature. I've never really understood, and I've always felt so bad inside of myself for not really being able to like connect hugely with nature. I think it's beautiful and I love it, but I don't feel the feelings that other people feel about it. And I almost thought there was something wrong with me. But he explains how he feels the same way, and how it's almost like here's this, animals killing other animals, for food. It's like, who made up that idea? That's horrible. And that really resonated with me too, because in a lot of ways it's kind of like, okay, this whole place, like what is going on here? So those kinds of questions really spoke to me. So anyways, enough of that. So Overwatch Project is so interesting, what he says about things. I really appreciate his thoughts and ideas. They make me feel less crazy. So that's it. I'm just gonna leave it at that, and I'll just give you a couple more channels that I do follow just to kind of throw out there in case you want to look them up. I really like Computing Forever, who was recently taken off of YouTube. I follow Hugo Talks. I love anybody that can talk about what's going on and really laugh and make fun of it. I think that's so important and great. Thomas Sheridan is an Irish individual that talks out of his car. I don't know much about him, but over the last couple years, I've really loved what he's had to say. He has a like kind of more of a, I don't know how to explain it, but I just like his perspective. I also follow a lot of artists. I love Molly Roberts. Her art and her work is so important. I'm actually a patron of hers, a proud patron. I love her stuff. So anyways, I hope that was interesting. I think it gives a little snapshot to me and a kind of a good hello, how are you after being gone so long. I'm really excited to get back into, I've been lucid a lot, and I'm really excited to see where my practice goes and to share it more with you. So I hope you're all doing well, and I'll talk to you soon.